What's going on, my fellow duelists? Veteran X here, and today we're doing a tier list on all the Harpy cards, baby. As a real-life Harpy player, I am so excited to do this with you all. No need for a long YouTuber intro. Let's dive right into it, baby. So the first card that we got here is Alluring Mirror Split. So if you're not aware, this card does the following. When a Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady sisters you control is destroyed by battle, you can special summon one Harpy monster from your deck with a different original name than the destroyed monster. And if this card you control is destroyed by a Harpy's card effect or your opponent's card effect, target one Harpy monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use each effect once per turn. For me, this card is a little too slow within modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, if you're playing like a pure Harpy build, then maybe you could go for it. But right now, for the playstyle that I like to use Harpies in, it's very aggressive and fast paced. Alluring Mirror Split requires a lot of setup to get the most, advantage out of it with its graveyard effect. So you need, first of all, you need a way to pop your own Alluring Mirror Split, which is possible with Harpies. I mean, come on, we all know how easy that is. But there's still one extra step you have to do in order to get the benefit of this card. And you also need some graveyard setup as well. So that's two things you have to set up in order to get the most bang for your buck, just to special summon one Harpy. And most of the time, if you're really relying on that combo during your plays, you might not be in a good position with your board to start out with. And also, it has that battle phase effect. When one of your Harpy Lady monsters is destroyed by battle, you get special summon another one from your deck. That effect is good, but it's just so slow within the current meta of Yu-Gi-Oh! Battle phase effects in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are just very, very lackluster. They have to do a lot, and I mean a lot of advantage for the user of the card in order for them to be any kind of use within today's metagame. So for me, unfortunately, I have to put it in too slow. I wouldn't put it in the avoid if possible category because it's not that bad of a card. It's just too slow for modern Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, I think comfortable in C tier, that's good for it. The next card we got here is Bird Face, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god, what is this early 2000s Yu-Gi-Oh? So Bird Face, you guys know what this card does. When he's destroyed by battle, you can add one Harpie Lady from your deck to your hand. Oh boy, this I can't hold back the laughter. This card is really trash. It doesn't make any sense. This card. Okay, I'm sorry. Alright, let me regain. Okay, I got the hiccups now. 1 second. Okay, all my fellow Harpy lovers, I'm back after taking a sip of my water. But yeah, Bird Face is absolutely freaking garbage. Do not play this card at all. It is incredibly too slow. Remember when I said earlier that battle phase and destruction effects are just too slow for modern Yu-Gi-Oh? Bird Face has no room within a modern Harpy deck at all. He doesn't even have Harpy in his name. Like here in Bird, it's just Bird Face. Like if it was Harpy's Bird Face, it would be a tad bit better, but no. Avoid this card at all costs. He is trash. Absolute trash. Alright, my friends, and now the next card we're going over is Harpy Conductor. Oh yeah, now we're starting to get into some good cards. So Harpy Conductor, she is one of my favorite link monsters to go right into because you can use all kinds of different monsters in order to create her, and she will be a Harpy monster. You see, she only requires 2 wind monsters in order to create her, and yeah, you have a free Harpy monster on board. So I play Harpy's Tri-Brigades, and there are several wind monsters within that strategy, so I'm able to create Harpy Conductor with it, sometimes not even using that Harpy monster, which is freaking awesome. And so what she does is provide protection for your Harpy monsters, and if another face-up Harpy monster you control returns to your hand, except during the damage step of course, you can target one special summon monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So sometimes you may be able to get that off maybe in a more pure Harpy build, or if you use Cypher/Harpies effect to bounce one of your Harpy monsters back to your hand, you can kind of get that bounce effect going on. But if that's the case, then you might as well just use Cypher/Harpies effect on your opponent's monster anyway, instead of going through those extra hoops to use Harpy Conductor to make that happen. Like, does that make sense? And she does provide protection. All you gotta do is destroy one spell or trap you control if one of your Harpy monsters will be destroyed. And that's also including herself as well. So yeah, she has some really nice protection. Absolutely run 1 or 2 copies of Harpy Conductor in every Harpy strategy you're doing. Doesn't matter which one you're doing, whether it's pure Harpies, Tri-Brigade Harpies, Lyralist Harpies, anything Harpies, make sure you run 1 or 2 copies of Harpy Conductor. Alright, so the next card we'll be going into, everybody, is Cyber Harpie Lady. Oh my goodness. So, how do we feel about this card? How do we feel about this card? Personally, I'd put it into the 1 or 2 ofs category. For me, Cyber Harpie Lady is actually worse than Vanilla Harpy, and I'll get into that later on because you can do a lot of cool things with Vanilla Harpie Lady, but with Cyber Harpie Lady, this is an 1800 beat stick on the field, and you know, there are other regular Harpie Ladies that provide a little bit more advantage than what she does, so maybe I might put her into the too slow category, to be honest. I mean, well, okay, she's a fine 1 or 2 of. Me personally, I would not run any copies of Cyber Harpie Lady because there are other quote-unquote Harpie Lady monsters that are just flat out better than her. So if you want to run one copy of it, have a blast. But for me, she's good right there. All right, the next card we're going over is Cyber Shield, everybody. Who remembers Cyber Shield, right? So Cyber Shield, all it is an equip spell too. You can put it on Harpie Ladies. They gain 500 attack. This card is absolutely trash. Absolutely. Where is it at? I can't find a copy of it. Oh, there it is. It got moved over here. Avoid if possible. This card is actually, it might be better than Bird Face because at least it does something before the battle phase. But oh my gosh, that's not saying much. Cyber Shield is horrible. Do not run this card in any Harpy strategy. It's as simple as that. Alright, on to the next card. And it looks like we have Harpy Dancer, everybody. Okay, so Harpy Dancer is a pretty cool Harpy card. So I'm going to immediately put her in 1 or 2 of. She's a really good 1 of. Much better than Cyber Harpie Lady. So what Harpy Dancer is, you can target 1 wind monster you control, including itself, return it to the hand. Then you can normal summon 1 wind monster. It's as simple as that. So if you need to bounce a Harpy monster from your field and normal summon another one, you can get extra shenanigans off with Harpy's Hunting Ground. You can get Harpy Conductor's effect to go off. But the only thing with Harpy Dancer is that it requires a little bit of setup to get the most bang for your buck. And if, like I said, if you're running a pure Harpy build, 1 copy of Harpy Dancer would be fun to have. But the more fast-paced Harpy builds, the one that's trying to compete against the meta and like that's out here winning games, you're probably going to avoid Harpy Dancer at most times, unfortunately. And I usually really like this card. It's a really cool effect, and you can make some pretty bonkers plays with it. But the potential for that payoff is just not good enough. Normally with Harpies, you want something that does a thing immediately once it's on the field. Like once I play this card, I know that the board state is going to change, and I can either affect my opponent's board or I can do something to give myself more advantage. And Harpy Dancer kind of doesn't fulfill that role enough unless you already have a board set up for it. And then in that case, at that point, you're probably already going to win anyway. So Harpy Dancer, it doesn't provide that much advantage to begin with. So yeah, just 1 copy of it would be totally fine if you really want to run it. And now, one of my favorite spell cards in all of Harpie Ladies, baby, is number 2 behind, well, a pretty obvious card, but we'll get into that one. Yes, 3-piece, baby, our first 3-piece. Run 3 of them things. 3-piece from KFC, baby, at all times. Elegant Egotist. If a Harpie Lady is on the field, special summon 1 Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady sisters from your deck. This thing is not once per turn. It's searchable through Harpy Perfumer. It's searchable through Hysteric Sign. Oh my goodness, you get so much advantage with this 1 card, and it just makes playing Harpies so much fun. You get to flood the field with Harpies with this card. Man, you can hear the excitement in my voice when I'm talking about this freaking card, baby. That's how excited I am for it. Run 3 copies of Elegant Egotist at all times. Now, there are some builds that don't use 3 copies of Egotist. I am not one of those person that has a build with anything less than 3. Do 3 of at all times, baby. Enough said. All right, and now we're going to talk about one of the OG Harpie Lady cards right here. Yes, that's right. Harpies Feather Duster. It is free from the ban list. We can now have 1 copy of it. So this is definitely top of 1 or 2 ofs because we can only have 1 copy of it. But if we could have more copies, I still wouldn't use 3 copies of it, to be quite honest. You want to know why? It's because we have Harpy's Hunting Ground within the game. And with that, since it's also searchable off of Perfumer's effect, if you're able to swarm the field with Harpie Ladies anyway, if you were to get Harpy's Feather Duster after you already cleared your opponent's back row, it's kind of a brick in hand, and at that point, the only good use that it has is to be like a target for Harpy Chandler, because you can pitch Harpy's Feather Duster to the grave to get Harpy Chandler's effect. So that's pretty cool. So honestly, even if this card was at unlimited, the most I'd probably run it at is maybe 2 of. I know that sounds crazy, but at least in a Harpy build, it's almost redundant, which is crazy to say. Like, what? You can never have enough Harpy's Feather Duster. I mean, and that is true. But at least for Harpies, 1 or 2 of this card will be perfectly fine. But if you were running this in any other deck, absolutely run 3 of. Run 3 copies of Harpy's Feather Duster at all times in any other deck. Yeah, so if this was unlimited at 3, and you want to run 3 copies of it, you're not going to hear any complaints from me, like, at all. But for me, and even though it's only at 1 anyway, yeah, 1 of is perfectly fine for it right now. All right, and now let's go into the OG Harpie Lady, everybody. That's right, Vanilla Harpy, ladies and gentlemen. The OG. Now, this card is much better than Cyber Harpie Lady, and the reason being is because you can go into extra deck plays with Harpie Lady. So there's a monster card called M. Duke, and it takes 1 normal monster, and it's also a dragon. So you could link Harpie Lady, Vanilla Harpie Lady away to go into M. Duke, and that can make your Harpy Channeler, which we'll be going in soon enough, become level 7. So if you pop off her effect, you get Perfume on board, you already have a level 5 or higher Harpy on board, so you get to do 2 searches off of Perfumer's effect. So it's a really nice combo to go into. And also some builds you unexpected die, so that way they can special summon Vanilla Harpie Lady from the deck if they don't have any other way to go any other plays. So Vanilla Harpie Lady is actually much better than pretty much all of the other regular Harpie Ladies besides, Chandler and Perfumer, which is crazy to say, right? Vanilla Harpie Lady is just that. It's vanilla. It doesn't have any effects. But the things that it can do and the support that it has because it's a normal monster, that's what provides a lot of advantage for it. And for me, so some people run 3 copies of it. I'm not mad at that. You could definitely run a 3-piece if you want to do that. For me, I run Vanilla Harpy at 1. At the most I would run at 1 copy. So I run Vanilla Harpy at 1 copy, and then I will run 2 copies of Harpie Lady 1 for that attack boosting effect. So yeah, that's how I would play it. Now, I'm not doing an end-all, be-all for Harpie Ladies. This is just my personal opinion and how I would run the deck. So, and also I have a Harpie Lady build on my channel. I should have a link for it in the description and pinned comment, so you can see like what kind of plays I'm going through. But in that build, I do not have Vanilla Harpie Lady. But in my new build that I have, I will be using Vanilla Harpie Lady. So yeah, she's a good 1 of, and if you want to put her in 3-piece, I'm not mad at that either. So I'll put her right here, right below Harpy Conductor. Alright, so we're going to go into a spell card next here, and that is going to be Harpy's Feather Rest, everybody. Alright, so if you didn't know, with this card you can target 3 Harpie Ladies or Harpie Ladies in the graveyard, shuffle them to the deck, and draw 1 card. And if you have a level 5 or higher Harpy, you can draw 2 cards instead. And also for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters except for wind monsters. Okay, so it's kind of like Pot of Greed at best, but it locks you out of, certain special summons. And for me, this is a good 1 of, like very, very solid 1 of if you want to run Harpy's Feather Rest. Me personally, I don't run it. I don't run it because it takes a little bit of setup. You have to target 3 Harpie Ladies in your graveyard, and you have to initially set that up to get the most bang for your buck, and then in order to get that 2-card advantage, you need a level 5 or higher Harpy on the field. Now, I'm not saying that these things are impossible. It's just that for my play style, I like to be fast and aggressive, and most of the time, if I'm seeing Harpy's Feather Rest like after the fact, like I'm already in a winning position anyway, so it's kind of like a win more card for me. Now, if you're running like pure Harpie Ladies, absolutely Harpy's Feather Rest can do wonders for you. But the way I play Tri-Brigade Harpies, like I'm banishing monsters from my graveyard, so I wouldn't even be able to get the advantage off of Harpy's Feather Rest because the Harpies are no longer in the grave. They're banished, so I can't even use this card. Oh, also, it is a Harpy Chandler target. You can pitch it to the grave, just special summon a Harpy from your deck, so that's another neat factor of it. But yeah, it's a solid 1 or 2 of, mainly 1 of, because it's searchable off of Perfumer as well. So a good 1 of. Don't run more than 2 because it's going to be bricky in your hands. And it's crazy, a card that you draw from your deck is bricky. Yeah, that's the way it is, man. Oh my goodness. Now, let's go into my favorite spell card in all of Harpie Ladies. You love them, you know them, and your opponents hate them. Ladies and gentlemen, Hysteric Sign. They will surrender. This card belongs in S tier. This card is disgusting to resolve, especially if you're going turn 1. If Hysteric Sign was in any other archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh, it would be banned. That's how good this card is. And another card we're going to talk about quite soon. They would be banned if they were in other archetypes. So if you didn't know, Hysteric Sign, if you play it, you get to search Elegant Egotist off the rip. And if this card is destroyed during your end phase, you can add up to 3 Harpy cards with different names from each other from your deck to your hand. Yes, you get to search 3 freaking cards during your end phase, and you can't get both effects to pop off. You can't search for Elegant Egotist and then turn around and try to pop your own Hysteric Sign to get an end phase effect. That's not how it works. It's either one or the other. So if I'm trying to go for game and lethal and I feel like Elegant Egotist will give me that push, guess what? I'm playing Hysteric Sign, I'm getting Elegant Egotist, I'm summoning Harpie Lady from deck, I'm going to extra deck plays, and bam, I'm going to hit you in your mouth for game, baby. And if it's turn 1 and if I have a way to pop my Hysteric Sign, oh my goodness, you get 3 searches. So the main search you're going to get is the best trap card in Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's called Harpie's Featherstorm. And I'm going to talk about that card very soon. Don't you worry. So you want to get Harpie's Featherstorm, at least one other Harpy monster, and then, I don't know, maybe pick up some generic Harpy support card, whether it's Harpy's Hunting Ground or, you know, any other cards that has Harpy in its name, of course. So my favorite thing I like to do, I like to get Harpy Channeler, Harpy Harpist, and Harpy's Featherstorm. And the thing is, if you have a Harpy on board during your end phase, when you pull off that search and then it becomes your opponent's turn, you can play Harpy's Featherstorm from your hand and negate all of their monster effects. Like, oh my goodness, that is disgusting. It is so filthy. Hysteric Sign makes your opponent surrender. When they see that you get that effect off and they see that you have a Harpy on board and they already know that you're going for Harpy's Featherstorm, they're probably going to surrender. Hysteric Sign, run 3 copies of it. I don't care what kind of build of Harpy Ladies you're doing, you need to run 3 Hysteric Sign at all times. This card is absolutely bananas. It starts off combos, it wins games. You will not go wrong with Hysteric Sign. I freaking guarantee it, baby. Run 3 of. That's 3-piece, baby, from KFC. They will surrender when they see this. Oh my goodness. And now we're going to go into a not so good card. After the hype fest that was Hysteric Sign, we're going into Griffin Wing. I don't even know if this is a real Harpy card, but if your opponent activates Harpy's Feather Duster, negate his effect, and then destroy all their spell and trap cards, it's hyper situational. Like, this card is dog shit. There's no other way to put it. You might as well just run any other form of negation for spell cards instead of running a hyper situational card like Griffin Ring. If you ever get this card to resolve, please record it and send that video to me in my Discord server. I have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Discord server. The link will be in the pinned comment and description, baby. Let's freaking go. Okay, alright, let me calm down. Griffin Wing is trash. Avoid if possible. This card is actually worse than Bird Face. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yes, this card is absolutely trash. Do not play Griffin Wing under any circumstances. And speaking of which, we got another card you should not play under any circumstances. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you all Harpy Girl. This card is also bad. I mean, the artwork is S tier. That's some good artwork, baby, if I do say so myself. But yeah, it's bad. At least it does count as a Harpy monster, and it's a level 2 monster, so you could probably go into some weird, I don't know, synchro plays maybe with it. But it's not a tuner. It's just a vanilla level 2 winged beast wind monster, and it doesn't do anything. It's better than Griffin Wing, which that's not saying much. It doesn't take much to be better than Griffin Wing. So yeah, Harpy Girl, avoid if possible, unless you just love the waifu artwork on it, which I can't blame you for that, because I do too. Goodness gracious, if you get a chance, you need to really check out Harpy Girl's artwork. Oh my goodness, that thing is... Man, I'm getting kind of hot and bothered over here. Okay, let's go to the next card before things start happening on this video. Oh my goodness. Let's go into Harpie Lady 2, everybody. Okay, so all this thing does is negate the effects of flipper monsters. It destroys by battle. Now, this card is just too slow for modern Yu-Gi-Oh! what are you facing against sub-terrors? I mean, this effect is gotten outpaced within modern Yu-Gi-Oh, and you're not going to ever resolve this effect. It's just too slow. It's a battle phase effect. I mean, if your opponent sees that you normal summon Harpie Lady too, they're going to find some way to, I don't know, to flick it off the board and get rid of it, so that way it effect doesn't even get a chance to go off. Like, you do not want to go into the battle phase with a Harpie Lady 2 on board, baby. And I would put it in the avoid if possible category, but I think being too slow is more accurate for this card. The game has changed. Back in the day, yeah, this card was much better, but nowadays, battle phase effects are just too darn slow for Yu-Gi-Oh! So I think the bottom of too slow tier is, it's a perfect place for it. And now let's go into a much better card here. We're going into Harpy Queen, baby. Definitely a 1 or 2 of. I'll put it right here, right above Harpy Dancer. Yeah, that's a good spot of it. A 1 or 2 of. So mostly, if you're playing like a more pure Harpy build, Harpy Queen is really great because you can pitch it to the grave and you can search out Harpy's Hunted Ground. And I love cards that are able to pitch themselves to the grave to search out other cards. I really enjoy things like that. And you know, it helps set up your graveyard and you get a search from the deck. So if you're doing plays from your graveyard, let's say with Tri Brigades, you can use Harpy Queen as material. And oh my goodness, check out this freaking artwork on it. I need to find out the artist because god damn, that's some great artwork, baby. Man. So Harpy Queen, a nice 1 or 2 of. Nothing more to say here, baby. Let's go into the next Harpy Lady. So let's talk about Harpy Lady 3, everybody. Okay, so Harpy Lady 3, again, if it falls into the category of Harpy Lady 2, it's just a little too slow within modern Yu-Gi-Oh, of course. And it's not going to fall into avoid a possible category, but man, I think it is better than Harpy Lady 2. You can prevent your opponent from their monster attacking, but normally you're trying to remove that monster from play anyway, so you're gonna probably get rid of that monster and you're not gonna feel the benefits of that effect anyway to go off. Again, the game has sped up and now Harpy Lady 2 and 3, they just been left in the dust, and unfortunately that's just where we gotta put them at. So yeah, let's keep on moving to more modern Harpy monsters. Alright, so next up we got the one, the only Harpy Harpist, everybody. Oh my goodness, you know what this card does. During the end phase, if it's in the graveyard, you can add 1 level 4 winged beast type monster with 1500 or less attack. So that's any winged beast type monster in the game as long as it's level 4 and it's under 1500 attack. So mainly you're going to be searching out Harpy monsters, of course. That's the big thing here. This is definitely a solid 1 or 2 of in your deck. And I put it right here below Vanilla Harpy. And it also has another effect. When this card is normal summon, you can target 1 winged beast type monster you control other than itself and 1 face up monster your opponent controls. Return them to the hand. So yeah, that can catch your opponent off guard sometimes. You can bounce their monster back to the hand. Yeah, and it's a pretty cool effect as long as you get that normal summon off. But most of the time, I'm pitching Harpy Harpist from my hand by using Chandler's effect anyway. So I rarely see that normal summon effect. But if you're able to pull it off, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You get to surprise your opponent. It's a very solid 1 of in your deck. In my playstyle, if I run into, I feel like it's bricky and it gets into my playstyle a little too much. But 1 copy of it, yes, you can't go wrong with 1 copy of Harpy Harpist. I love this card a lot. It has great artwork, of course. And yeah, you cannot go wrong with 1 copy of this, baby. Especially on your first turn, like say you normal summon Harpy Chandler, you pitch Harpy Harpist to the grave, you go into your combos, and you go finish your board, and during the end phase, you get basically another Harpy monster. So yeah, 1 copy will do you just fine. Alright, so let's go into the next card here, and it is the OG field spell. You love it, and your opponents hate it. Harpy's Hunting Ground. You know what this card does. It has a nice 200 increase in attack and defense for all your winged beast monsters, so that comes in handy sometimes. And every time you normal or special summon a Harpy or Harpy Lady, you can destroy 1 spell or trap on the field. It's that easy. Definitely a solid 1 of in the deck. I'll put it right here, right below Vanilla Harpy. That's how much I like this card. It's really good in the deck. you can run one copy of it. Actually, if you're playing Harpies in any capacity, you need at least one copy of this card in your deck. 2 copies for me feels like it's too many, because if I'm able to resolve it once and I'm able to do what I need to do as far as popping my own Hysteric Sign or popping my opponent's back row, then I've done my job. And if it gets removed off the field, most of the time I don't really need it again, because I'm in a healthy board state and I'm able to probably swing for gain at that point. So 1 copy will do you just fine. Some people run 2 copies. I wouldn't recommend it because they can become bricky sometimes, but 1 copy, man, you will see so much advantage off of it. And plus, it's searchable by 2 ways, Hysteric Sign and Harpy Perfumer. So you got ways to search out this wonderful card. So you need more than 1 copy of it. One will do you perfectly, my friend. Alright, so we're going to keep the vibes going with Spell and Traps. And this next one, oh man, this one is definitely falling out of favor for me. So I'm gonna have to put it into the too slow category. I know. Some of you guys are probably like, "Ree, what do you mean? Hysteric Party is too slow. Are you not a Harpy player?" Keyboard warriors, I understand. I know, my fellow Harpy lovers, I understand. But Hysteric Party for me is just too freaking slow. You need a lot of setup to get the most bang for your buck out of it. And the thing is, like I mentioned before with Tri-Brigade Harpies, which is the playstyle that I play, I'm banishing Harpy monsters from my graveyard so I can use them in link plays. I don't have time to keep some in the graveyard to get off a random Hysteric Party. It's just, it doesn't work for me. And you know, if you're running a generic Harpy build, yes, you can run 1 copy of Hysteric Party and you'll be perfectly fine with that. But for me, it's just too slow. It's a trap card. You have to have a good bit of graveyard setup going on. And then you got to hope that your opponent doesn't destroy it. Because if your opponent is able to get rid of this card in any way, whether they banish it, destroy it, return it back to your hand, all of your resources that you got from those Harpy Ladies, they're going to be gone. So not only is it too slow, it's fragile. And if you don't immediately get advantage off of that, and your opponent, you know, they just activate, I don't know, a freaking MST on you, then you're going to lose all that advantage, and bam, you got nothing else to show for it. So Hysteric Party is kind of falling out of favor. Back when the game was slower, yeah, Hysteric Party used to be a 3-of. Like, trust me, this card, it won games. But nowadays, nah, you don't really need it in your deck. And I mean, if you absolutely want to run 1 copy of it, have a blast. But there are many Harpy builds out here that do not rely on Hysteric Party. And that's a good point I want to bring up. If you have to rely on Hysteric Party in order to win the game, ooh boy, something's going wrong somewhere. Something is going wrong somewhere, baby. And then Hysteric Party is not searchable from Harpy Perfumer. Yeah, you can't even search for this card using Harpy Perfumer's effect, because Harpy Perfumer says it needs to have Harpy Lady's sisters in its text, but Hysteric Sign does not have that in its text. It has Harpy Lady in its text, so it's not even searchable off of Perfumer's effect. So yeah, don't even worry about Hysteric Party, to be quite honest. It's just too slow. It is better than these cards, of course, and I think I might want to put Alluring Mirror Split. Yeah, there we go. Back in front of these 2 cards. Yeah, because it is better than those. But that, again, that's not saying much. You know, just leave Hysteric Sign, you know, in your side deck. Well, don't even put it in there. Don't put it a part of your deck at all. Like, what are you doing? Don't do that. Don't you want to win? And speaking of winning, let's go into my favorite Harpy Lady monster. Harpy Lady 1. Well, not my favorite Harpy Lady monster, but regular Harpy Lady. So, Harpy Lady 1. This is a 3-piece for me, baby. Oh my goodness, I love this card to pieces. Even though it's one of the old school Harpy Lady cards, it still sees a lot of play in most Harpy builds. And the reason being is because that 300 attack boost, you may not think that it's a lot, but if you swarm the field with 2 or 3 of these bad boys, or I should say bad gals, it really adds up, and it gives a nice attack boost to Wind Barrier Statue of the Storm Winds. And if you don't know what that card does, it literally negates your opponent. Well, not negates, it prevents your opponent from special summoning monsters unless they'll win. And most decks you're going against, they're not trying to special summon wind monsters unless you're playing other Harpy monsters or Harpy players or Lyralist players. And if you drop Wind Barrier Statue on the field, they can't beat you unless they find some way to either remove that card from the field or they just have a normal summon to beat over it. So Harpie Lady 1's attack boosting effect is really good because, you know, if it has 1600 attack or 1900 attack in reference to the barrier statue, then most normal summons are not going to be able to beat over it, and yeah, you can possibly win the game off of that. So I prefer Harpie Lady 1 over all the other Harpie Ladies. And of course, I've seen the builds with 2 Harpie Lady 1s and then 1 vanilla Harpy, or some people use all 3 vanilla Harpies, and some people use all 3 Harpie Lady 1s. I'm a fan of using all 3 Harpie Lady 1s, and yeah, that's what I do. So that's my 3-piece right there, baby. Harpie Lady 1. Man, I love seeing that card. Alright, so we're going to go into another trap card here, and that is Harpy Lady Elegance, baby. Alright, so good news here is that this card is searchable through Perfumer because it does specifically mention Harpy Lady Sisters. And you know what? Let's go ahead and read this effect really quick. Shuffle 1 Harpy Lady Sister from your monster zone into the deck. I'm going to stop you right there. Why am I playing Harpy Lady Sisters in my deck? The answer is I'm not. So since I'm not playing Harpy Lady Sisters in my deck, I'm not going to be able to get the most bang for my buck out of Harpy Lady Elegance. But I'm going to keep reading. Let's keep on going. Then you can special summon 3 Harpy monsters with different original names, 1 each from your hand, deck, and graveyard. Now, it's important that you understand what this card says and the rules that you must follow with it. If you shuffle Harpy Lady Sisters back into your deck, then you must have a Harpy Lady in your graveyard, a Harpy Lady in your hand, and a Harpy Lady in your deck in order to get this effect to go off. If you don't have a Harpy Lady in graveyard and you try to activate Harpy Lady Elegance, it's not going to work because the way that this card is written, it says then you can special summon 3 Harpy monsters with different original names, 1 each from your hand, deck, and graveyard. If it would have said hand, deck, and or graveyard, that means you can use it interchangeably, and then you wouldn't need to have a Harpy Lady in all 3 of those places. But since it has and in it, that is very important when dealing with the ruling of this card. You need to have a Harpy Lady in all 3 of those places in order to make this card activate. And then you gotta have a Harpy Lady Sisters on board. Like, no, I'm not playing Harpy Lady Sisters. It's a level 6 monster. It's not level 4 or anything. It's awkward when you're using it. And when I'm using Elegant Egotist, I want to have a regular Harpy Lady on board anyway. I'm not going to waste my time with Harpy Lady Sisters, and I just can't. It has no playstyle within modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you draw Harpy Lady Sisters, that is one of the hardest bricks ever in this entire playstyle because you can't do anything with it except maybe pitch it with Harpy Chandler's effect. That's the only good thing you can use the Harpy Lady Sisters for while it's in your hand. Period. I mean, even Harpy's pet dragon is better than having that Harpy Lady Sisters in hand because you can't do anything with it. But I'm getting a little sidetracked here. We're talking about Harpy Lady Elegance right now. Also, it locks you out of special summons except for wind monsters, so that's another downside to this trap card. And if this card you control is destroyed by a Harpy card's effect or your opponent's card effect, add 1 Harpy monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, so now we're finally seeing the goodness within the Harpy Lady Elegance. So in order to get that search off, you either gotta pop it or have your opponent pop it. So that is a really good part. But you know, you can't activate this thing by itself. You still have to have some kind of setup in order to get that search. A lot of modern decks, they don't need a setup. All they have to do is do like a regular normal summon, and bam, they get to search their archetype specific cards from their deck. And it's as easy as that, just 1 normal summon. With Harpy Lady Elegance, you gotta set it, you gotta have some way to destroy it, or you can hope for your opponent to destroy it. And man, it's just too many factors that you have to put into it in order to get that search off. So Harpy Lady Elegance, yes, it is searchable off of Perfumer's effect. That's a bonus for it. And you get to search, but you have to destroy it to get that. And for me, that's just a little too slow. So I'm going to put it right here, right below Hysteric Sign and above Alluring Mirror Split. Ooh, oh my goodness, what was going on here? But yeah, it's good in the too slow category for me. I run Harpies just fine, and I don't miss Harpy Lady Elegance not one bit. It's a cool card to get to resolve once you get it to go off, but if you're trying to win games, do not play Harpy Lady Elegance. I gotta be honest. I'm not gonna say put it into the void of possible category, but for me, it's just too slow. And that's gonna be the case with just a bunch of Harpy cards just in general. They're just a little too slow for like a modern playstyle. Oh man, now this this next card we're about to go over is freaking ancient. Who remembers Harpie Lady Phoenix Formation? Man, this card is one of the OG Harpy cards. So first of all, let's just get it out the way. This is going into the avoid if possible category. And I'm going to read the card effect and I'm going to explain why. If you control 3 or more Harpy Ladies and or Harpy Lady sisters, okay, so you gotta have 3 or more Harpies on board. Normally that's not hard, but if you're in that situation, you're probably in a win more position on the board. But let's go. Target as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, but not more than the total number of Harpies you control, of course. Destroy them, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to your highest original attack among those destroyed monsters. You cannot special summon monsters from the deck or extra deck, nor conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. Yeah, so it basically locks you out of doing everything else. If you want to use this card, you cannot do any extra deck plays. Hell, you can't even activate Elegant Egotist on the turn that you activate this card, because if you do, you won't be able to use it at all. So this card is searchable. It's got that going for it, but it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. You might as well play Raigeki and you get more advantage than this card. And now with the recent TCG ban list, Raigeki is back at 3. So why would you play Harpie Lady Phoenix formation when you could just play Raigeki and skip all the steps and still go through your extra deck plays? No, this card has no reason being near any Harpie Lady deck. Keep it away, baby. And it's like I say, it's important to read card text because, yeah, if you do any special summons on this turn, you can't use that card. And if you want to use it, you can't do any special summons. So it's just like horrible. Absolutely horrible. Do not use this card. Do not run it. And hell, I might think Cyber Shield is better. Hell, Bird Face might be better than this card now that I think about it. Because what is going on here? What are you going to do with this? If you get a victory off of this card, please post it in my Discord because I need to see that and I will call you a freaking legend to the end of the days. And now we're going to go into probably one of the worst Harpy monsters here. Oh my goodness, everybody get your boos together for Harpy Lady sisters. Ugh, ew, that card's a stinker. So yeah, there are several Harpy card supports that have bonus effects. You got Harpy Lady sisters on field, but I'm going to tell you, you don't need them. You don't need those bonus effects. You can win with Harpy decks without even touching Harpy Lady sisters. It's a brick if you draw it. If you top deck this card, you might as well just surrender because you just wasted that turn unless you got some way to pitch it to the grave with Harpy Chandler. And look at that. Cannot be normal summon set. You can't even normal summon this card. You can only special summon it with Elegant Egotist. And what do you get for that? A level 6 beat stick. Ugh, it's horrible. Avoid if possible. Man, is this card worse than Griffin Wing? Well, no, it's not worse than Griffin Wing because you can get some bonus effects off here. So it's better than Phoenix formation for sure. I can't believe that Cyber Shield is really at the top of D tier. But yeah, Harpy sisters, man, unless you're just going for like a pure Harpy build and that's just what you're dead set on doing, then you can run Harpy Lady sisters. But if you just want to compete against the meta and you want to win games, I gotta be honest, I don't want to BS anybody and be like, oh yeah, sure, give it a shot if you want. No, this is the game. We're trying to win duels, baby. We're not trying to half step. We're not trying to give our opponents any breathing room here. Do not play Harpy Lady sisters if you want to win against meta decks. I gotta be honest, man. I gotta be totally honest. Okay, now let's go into a much better Harpy card, and that is Harpy Oracle. Oh yes, one of the more modern Harpy cards, and I really like Harpy Oracle. So it's a really fun one of, and I will put it right here above Harpy Harpist. And the reason being is because it can special summon itself. So if you control a level 5 or higher Harpy monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it's a free special summon if you ever have your board set up and you're able to get the effect to go off. And also, if this card is normal special summon during your end phase, you can add one spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand that specifically lists the card Harpy Lady sisters in the text. And guess what? Elegant Egotist, that is a target. That's probably your main target you're always going to go for. But you can also, you know, pick up Harpy's Hunting Ground or Harpy's Feather Rest, any of those cards during the end phase. But most of the time, you're going to try to recover your Elegant Egotist. So yeah, Harpies is a good combo extender. If you already have your board set up with level 5 of a higher Harpy monster, special summon it, and keep on going through your plays. I really like this card. It's a beautiful one-of in a deck. One of my favorite one-ofs in Harpies. For me, if I run 2 of, it starts getting into the playstyle a little bit. But yes, 1 copy, you can't go wrong with that. I guarantee it. Now, the next card we're going to go into is probably one of the best Harpy monsters. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Harpy Perfumer. And that's a 3-piece, baby, right here at right below Elegant Egotist, because this card is just bonkers. Elegant Egotist is absolutely bonkers. So yeah, Harpy Perfumer, you love her. She's nice. You know what she does. And she's thick. Ooh, look at how the thickness is on here. Okay, let's go into her effect, shall we? She becomes Harpie Lady while in the field of graveyard, of course. And if she's normal special summon, you get to add 1 spell or trap from your deck to your hand that specifically lists Harpie Lady sisters in this text. And if you have a level 5 or higher Harpy on the field, you get to add 2 cards with different names from your deck to your hand. And yes, Harpy Perfumer, she's the combo starter. You can normal summon her from turn 1. You can special summon her from the deck using Harpy Channeler, and then you go into more plays. Most of the time when you're playing Harpy Perfumer, you're always going to search Elegant Egotist. Almost 95% of the time, you're going to search Elegant Egotist. And then, you know, every once in a while, maybe you get Harpy's Hunting Ground, so that way you can pop your own Hysteric Sign. Or if you see that your opponent has a bunch of back row, you'll pick that up as well. But yeah, 95% of the time, you're going for Elegant Egotist, and then seldom Harpy Hunting Ground. And yeah, Harpy Perfumer 3-of, baby. That's a 3-piece from KFC. All day, baby. 3-piece and a biscuit. Give me that. You cannot play Harpies without playing Harpy Perfumer. You absolutely cannot. If you want to win, you want to compete, you need 3 copies of Harpy Perfumer at all times. Enough said. I don't need to say anything else here. 3 copies. Next card we're going into is, now we're going to talk about some of the Harpies Dragons, and buckle in, they're not the best cards at all. Oh my goodness, they're not that good. So let's read Harpy Pet Dragon effect. This card gains effects based on normal Harpy monster you control, except Harpy's Pet Dragon. Okay, so it only does something when you have a board set up, basically. So 1 or more, your opponent cannot target Harpy monster you control for attacks, except Harpy's Pet Baby Dragon. Okay, that's cute. 2 or more, double the original attack and defense of this card. Again, okay, who cares about 2400 attack? Unless you just about to swing for game, I guess. 3 or more, once per turn, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy that target. Finally, okay, that effect is pretty damn good, but you need to have 3 or more Harpies on board to make it happen. For me, this card is a tad bit too slow. And the reason being is that you can't get advantage out of it unless you have a board set up for it. And I mean, I'm pretty sure there are some people out here who, you know, hey, I had 3 Harpies on board and I normal summon. What? Yeah, normal summon Harpy's Pet Baby Dragon, and I was able to destroy 1 card. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying I have other ways to destroy my opponent's monsters without having to go through the setup and wasting my normal summon on a Pet Baby Dragon. Like, again, Raigeki exists. I have extra deck monsters that can remove monsters on the field. I don't need to use Harpy's Pet Dragon to get that advantage. And as a matter of fact, I might put it below Alluring Mirror Split. Yeah, I might put it right there. Harpy's Pet Dragon is just too slow to run in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! If it had these effects on just this normal summon without having to set up, then yeah, maybe we can talk about it. But for me, nah. There are much better cards you would much rather run. And now let's talk about a much better Harpy's Pet Dragon. And I don't think this card has been released yet in the TCG, but yeah, here it is. Harpy's Pet Dragon Fearsome Fire Blast. So what this card can do, if you control a level 6 or lower wind monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good, because there's almost no other situation in which you will control a level 6 or lower wind monster. That's freaking great. And Tri-Brigade Nerval is also a level 6 or lower wind monster, so you can special summon him even though you don't have a Harpy monster on board. So that's kind of cool. So that makes him a really, really good card off the bat, off of that. And also has the effect, monsters cannot target level 6 or lower Harpy monster you control for attacks. you know, a battle protection effect. And another bonus effect here, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send one winged beast monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is freaking beautiful. There are lots of targets in Tri-Brigade Harpies for that. So Harpies of course, and then Tri-Brigade Nerval, because once he's sent to the grave, he can search out another Tri-Brigade card. So this card is a pretty decent one of. I'm not gonna lie. I will put him right below Harpy's Hunting Ground and right above Harpy's Oracle, because Harpy's Oracle can also special summon herself with the conditions are met, and Pet Dragon can special summon herself when certain conditions are met. And it's a lot more often that you'll be able to make this thing happen, because you're pretty much always going to have a level 6 or lower wind monster because you're playing Harpies. So yeah, he fits into the playstyle really well. Do not run 3 copies of it, but 1 copy of this card, or maybe 2, is perfectly fine. And since he's a dragon, that means your Harpy Chandler becomes level 7, and then, you know, you can pop off Harpy Perfumer's effect if you're able to get it on board. So yeah, I really like Fearsome Fire Blast. And I really wish that if this card was sent to the graveyard in any fashion, then you could get that graveyard effect. But this card does have to hit the field first, and then it has to go to the graveyard. So that way it can send that 1 card from your deck to the graveyard. Remember, you got to read the effects in Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, I like this card a lot. It makes me happy to see that. Will I be running it in my playstyle? Maybe not. Maybe not. It does get in the way a little bit, but I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna test it out. I'll test it out, run 1 copy of it, and I'll get back with you guys on that. And now let's go into the old Harpy's Pet Dragon. Ugh. Oh my goodness, this thing. Now that Fearsome Fire Blast exists, avoid this card if possible. And it's there we go. I'll put it at the top of D tier of avoid if possible. If I can get this thing to slide correctly. There we go. It took me like 2 minutes of off-screen recording to get that to work, but I got it. But yeah, Harpy's Pet Dragon, it's a horrible, horrible brick in your hand. Oh my goodness, I cannot tell you how bad of a brick that is. And also, if you want to go into rank 7 exceed plays, then Fearsome Fire Blast, you can also have that option as well. So that's another good thing. And I used to use Harpy's Pet Dragon, you know, for like rank 7 plays. But now that we have Tri-Brigade and we have a lot more extra deck monsters at our disposal, I don't use the rank 7 package anymore. So I'll just cut Harpy's Pet Dragon all together for my playstyle. And yeah, I haven't looked back since. So avoid this card if it's possible. You know, and if you want to, you can run it in too slow maybe, but for me, I'm not playing that card at all. It's just too slow. It's a brick in hand, and there are other cards I'd much rather play. Like this next card we're about to go over. Harpy Channeler. She is your main normal summon, baby. That's a 3-piece, baby. 3-piece. And I'm putting her right below Harpy Perfumer, because Harpy Perfumer, she can do stuff even if you don't have another Harpy in hand. Harpy Channeler, she needs to have another Harpy card in hand in order to get her effect off. So it's kind of limiting by that. But Harpy Perfumer, it doesn't matter what your hand looks like. Anytime you normal or special summon her, you're going to get that search off, and then you get Elegant Egotist. It's just that easy. But that's not to say that Harpy Channeler isn't bad or anything, because Harpy Channeler is freaking awesome, and I love this card so much. That's why it's in 3-piece, baby. 3 of them things in A tier. Big A tier card. So discard 1 Harpy card, and that could be monster, spell, or trap. Special summon 1 Harpy monster from your deck and face up defense position. And that includes any of the Harpy monsters except for, I think, Sisters, but I haven't tested it. And you can also special summon Harpy's Pet Dragon that way. Any, hell, Harpy Perfumer, of course. Harpy Oracle, I don't know why you would do that, but you can. Harpy Harpist, that's also another option. Every Harpy monster, you know what this card does. Run 3-piece of it. It has awesome artwork as well. If you're not running 3 copies of Harpy Chandler in your Harpy deck, you're doing it wrong, my friend. You gotta get 3 of them things in there. And now we're gonna talk about another dragon monster, ladies and gentlemen. Harpy's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. This card can attack directly, and it's good. It's a good one-of. I'll put it right here, right above Harpy's Hunting Ground. If you're trying to swing for game, yeah, activate that effect. It's too easy. Attack your opponent directly. Bam. Enough said. Also, your opponent cannot target any Harpy monsters with effects or attacks. So yeah, it makes them non-targetable. That's a pretty dang good protection effect. Nice. Very, very nice protection effect. So yeah, easy one of in the deck. Every time I'm playing Harpies, I have Harpy's Pet Phantasmal Dragon in my extra deck as well. You can't go wrong with one copy of it. The next card we shall talk about is, well, I mean, it is part of the Harpy archetype, Toon Harpie Lady. I mean, it's here. It is a Harpy card technically, and yeah, avoid if possible. I mean, do not play this card under any circumstances. I mean, it is technically better than Harpy's Pet Dragon because, you know, you do get the bonus effect. It is a level 4 winged beast monster, and it is a Harpy card, but man, avoid that card if possible. It's kind of a joke that is here, but hey, I gotta do my due diligence, right? And now let's go into a card that is definitely not a joke. Ladies and gentlemen, Cyber / Harpie Lady, our only synchro monster that we have for Harpies, and man, it is a doozy. This card, I would put it in 3-piece. It's that freaking good, but you don't need to run 3 copies of Cyber / Harpie Lady. Actually, because some people are going to see this, they're like, it's A tier, and it definitely is A tier. I'll put it right there. Yeah, if I'm just going by strictly the tier of it, yes, Cyber / Harpie Lady is A tier, but you wouldn't run 3 copies of it. So now let's go into what it does. For this card, Synchro Summon, you can treat 1 Harpy monster you control as a tuner. That's freaking nice. I do wish that we had a Harpy monster that was a tuner, so that way we can go into other synchro monster plays. But for now, Cyber / Harpie Lady, it circumvents that, you know, that lack of resource that we have. And also, when a spell or trap card is activated, quick effect, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls or 1 Harpy monster you control, return it to the hand. So it bounces cards to the hand. It doesn't destroy them. That's freaking great. That's one of the best forms of monster removal. Just return it to the hand or spinning it to the deck. Those are the best removals to have, baby. And yeah, run 1 or 2 copies of this. It is A tier. It is one of the best Harpy monsters. But you don't want to run 3 copies of it. There's no need to run 3 copies of this card. You could have that extra deck slot for something else. And now let's go into oh, how many of you guys out there remember Triangle Ecstasy Spark? What in the heck? Man, I'm going to read this card real quick. Until the end of this turn, the attack of all Harpy Lady's sisters currently on the field becomes 2,700. I'm going to stop right there. That's irrelevant. That first part is irrelevant, but let's keep on going. Your opponent cannot activate any trap cards, also negate all your opponent's trap effects on the field. I don't know what to say here, man. I don't use this card at all. I'm just gonna say avoid if possible. It's better than Harpy. Yeah, it's the best avoid if possible card, but that's not saying much. Like, what the heck? That's like saying, well, the grass is wet in the morning because of dew. It's like, okay, that's true, but what else? Yeah, I don't want to talk about this card anymore because we have the best Harpy card coming up next. As a matter of fact, this card might be one of the strongest cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the only reason why it's not banned is because it's limited to Harpy Ladies and Winged Beast monsters. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the best card in Harpy Ladies and probably one of the most strongest cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Harpies Featherstorm, my favorite card in this entire deck. If you get this card in your hand, it's guaranteed you're going to win. You will win games with this card. So let me read it real quick. If you control a Winged Beast monster until the end of this turn, negate any monster effects your opponent activates. Do I need to read any more? Negate any monster effects your opponent activates, and it doesn't matter what it is. They can use a hand trap, negate it. Normal summon a monster, negate it. Special summon that monster and its effects pops off, negate it. Something happens in the graveyard that making its effect happen, negate it. And it's not once per turn, it negates all your monsters' effect for the duration of their turn, and there's nothing they can do about it. And it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. You shut down your opponent and they can't do nothing. Either they're going to pass or they're going to surrender. That's how great this card is. And if you combine Harpy's Featherstorm with Wind Barrier Statue of the Storm Winds, if you lock your opponent out of the monster effects and special summoning, they're gonna scoop. They can't win. There's no way they can freaking play Yu-Gi-Oh! At that point, and you just secured the victory. Harpy's Featherstorm is the best card in this deck. It's searchable off of Hysteric Sign, And unfortunately, that's the only way you can search it. If you can search this card off of Perfumer as well, oh my goodness, man, I will cry tears of joy. But unfortunately, Harpy's Featherstorm does not mention Harpy Lady's sisters in this card text, so it's not searchable by Perfumer. It's only searchable by Hysteric Signs in phase effect. So yeah, we got that going for us. And yes, Harpy's Featherstorm wins games, ladies and gentlemen. 3-piece at all times. Your opponent will surrender. I guarantee it. Unless they have some just... I'm not even going to say unless. There's no way they can win if you resolve Harpy's Featherstorm. You're going to lock them out of monster effects for a turn. It's a floodgate. It's beautiful. And if this card was in any other freaking archetype, it will be banned. It will be banned without question. And so I'm glad this with Harpies. Yes, because it allows us to win games and screw over our opponents. And that's what we like to do. We're here for the no-nonsense bullcrap, baby. Good vibes. All the good vibes, baby. Of course, I will be having a Harpy deck build. I'm going to have that link in the description and pinned comment so you can see how I play Harpies and how I have fun, because as you can see, I am very enthusiastic about Harpies. I play Harpy Ladies in real life. As a matter of fact, look at that, baby. Look at that. You know what the fuck going on. You see that. You see that 3-piece Harpy Lady the Harpy's Featherstorm right there, baby. Yeah. You know what's going on. I play Harpies in real life. What you mean? I do this, baby. I do this. Yeah, buddy. Once again, my name is Veteran X, and I'm going to be making a ton of Yugioh Master Duel content for everyone to enjoy. Subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. I also have a Twitch here, Hey Veteran X. It should be right here on the screen. And I got deck builds on my channel. I have how-to guides, how to link summon, how to synchro summon. I have all that and more. Stick around, baby, because we're going to have lots of spicy memes and Harpy deck plays as well. Oh, I have a Discord server. I'll have that in the pinned comment and description as well. My Yu-Gi-Oh Discord server. Come to hang out for all the memes and Master Duel content. And now, with all of that out of the way, get out there and let's go play some freaking video games, baby. And watch some anime. See you later, my freaking Harpy Lady lovers.